The winning blueprint presents.
In the lab room.
Good afternoon. You are in the lab room. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Lou. And it is October. And I should have mentioned that yesterday, being that yesterday was the first day of October. However, it is October. The NFL celebrates Breast Cancer Awareness Month by allowing their players to wear pink on the field, the only month of the season, October, that they allow this to occur. And so I'm going to do my part to support breast cancer awareness by wearing a pink shirt every day for the rest of this month on the program. Now, I'm a man. And so what that means is that I don't have a lot of pink shirts. So if you see me wearing the same shirt over and over and over again, don't say, hey, he's wearing the same shirt over and over and over again. Yes, I am wearing the same shirt over and over again because I don't have a lot of pink shirts in my wardrobe. So if you see me with this same shirt on repeatedly, it's because I am being cognizant of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And as the NFL is doing, I am doing as well. I am going to celebrate it by wearing a pink shirt on the show every day this month. So there you have it. I put that to rest. So if you see me with this same shirt on, I don't want to hear any jokes, any comments, or anything like that. All right, let's move on. Last night, there was a football game. And in case you didn't know, or you didn't watch, there was a certain team that got their butts destroyed last night on Monday Night Football. Care to take a guess who it was? All right. I'll tell you. It was the Dallas Cowboys. They got utterly manhandled last night. Just destroyed. Torn to shreds on Monday Night Football at home at the hands of the Chicago Bears. I was once told by a wise man that fatigue makes a coward out of us all. I feel the same way about turnovers. Turnovers can make a liar out of any National Football League team. Doesn't matter how honest and truthful you are and what your play says on the field. Turnovers can make a liar out of any National Football League team. If the Cowboys thought they had a chance to win the game after turning it over 5 times, they're lying. If after watching this football game, you really think that the Bears are 16 points better than the Dallas Cowboys, consistently they're a 16-point better a game team than the Cowboys, 23 points because they were up at the latter stages of this game by about 23 points. Cowboys scored a late game touchdown to cut it to a 16-point deficit. If you think that the Bears are legitimately 16 points better than the Dallas Cowboys, you're lying. However, doesn't matter. When you turn over the football in the National Football League, you're not going to win games. Cowboys found that out the hard way last night. Of course, they already know that. But they needed to be reminded of that. On national television, at home, against the Chicago Bears. You can't turn the football over in the National Football League consistently and think you're going to win games. It's rare that you get away with that. The Philadelphia Eagles have been on thin ice all year long. They've been walking a really fine line between being lucky and being careless. That luck ran out in week 3 against Arizona. And I venture to say that if they continue to do that throughout the course of the season, is going to run out on them more often than it's going to prove to be lucky, and them still getting a victory and finding a way to pull it out. You can't turn the football over in this league. It will make a liar out of you very, very quickly. Think you're a good football team? Turn the football over. Then look at your record. Man, I thought we were a good team. Liar. Can't turn the football over in the National Football League. You can't do it. You can't turn it over multiple times in a game. I laugh at the San Francisco 49ers all the time because their offense is so deliberate, so methodical. They don't take chances in that offense. Everything is scripted. Everything is very cautious. 5-yard pass here. 11-yard pass there. 5-yard pass here. Hitch. Run to Frank Gore. Run to Frank Gore. Run to Frank Gore. Slant. Out. Stop. Come back. Not many deep routes in this offense when talking about the San Francisco 49ers. But it's done that way for a reason. Because they don't want to turn the football over. The more you pass the ball and the further down the field you pass the ball, the more likely it is it can be picked off. You can turn the football over. The longer the routes are, the more time it needs to develop, the longer your quarterback has to hold on to the ball, the more chances you have to turn the football over. You're more susceptible to fumbling the football if your quarterback has to wait 3.5 seconds for a route to develop down the field. So what do the 49ers do? Run short plays. Get the ball out of Alex Smith's hands quickly into their playmakers' hands a lot faster. I laugh at them, but it works. And it stops them from turning over the football. If you look at all the good teams in the league, they don't turn the football over. They're not liars. They don't lie to themselves. They don't tell themselves, hey, we can still win. We're a good football team even if we turn the football over. They don't lie to themselves. Can't turn the football over. And so watching this game, and nothing makes me happier. Nothing puts a smile on my face like the Dallas Cowboys going on Monday Night Football and getting an old-fashioned, passionate butt whooping and getting their shoes, coat, and hat taken in front of everybody on national TV. Nothing makes me smile more. Nothing warms my heart more than seeing that occur. However, that's not what I was there tuning in for. I was in the midst of a football pool, needed this game to stay close, needed the score to stay down, and I needed to give myself a shot to win the football pool. So what I tuned in to see was a defensive struggle, two teams that were going to get after the opposing quarterbacks, wreak havoc on these so-so offensive lines, stop the running game, force a lot of punts, maybe create a few turnovers that prove to be the difference in the game, but keep the score respectable. What I did not intend on happening, what I did not expect to happen, is to see these two teams give the ball away to each other as if they were sharing and caring. As we all know, the Cowboys and Tony Romo are very, very caring, and caring is sharing. And they love to share. But that's not what we tuned in to see. We didn't tune in to see Tony Romo be colorblind and turn the football over and throw the ball to the Chicago Bears as if they were wearing Dallas Cowboy uniforms. This game started out with both teams trying to establish the run. If you were a Bears fan, you were nervous because on the first play of the game, Matt Forte took a carry and had a nice run, about 9, maybe 10 yards, but got up limping, came off the field, and you thought, oh, here we go again with that ankle. When he had it taped up, came back in the game and gutted it out. He was fine, but that drive went nowhere. You ended up punting. Fine, that's what you expected this game to be, a lot of punts. And the Cowboys got the ball. They did the same thing. This occurred several times in the first quarter. Into the second quarter, there was no score. And then the Bears drove the ball down the field, got the first points of the game with the Robbie Gould field goal. And then the turnovers started to happen. First, Dallas decided, hey, why not throw a pick six directly to Peanut Tillman and allow him to run it in? You think that's a good idea, Tony? Sure, why not? Him and Dez Bryant had a miscommunication. Dez was supposed to stop on a comeback, break his route off because the Bears were blitzing. He did not get the memo. He did a stop and go. Peanut Tillman stopped, decided not to go. Ball came right to him. He tried his best to drop it, but the pass was just right to him. It was too easy to catch. So hard to drop that he had to catch it on like his third try and walk into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. Bears are up 10-0. Of course, in typical Cowboy fashion, they come back down the field and respond and get a touchdown. Cut the lead to 10-7. That remains the halftime score, 10-7. Bears get the ball after halftime first, and they go right down the field, and Jay Cutler, as only Jay Cutler can do, off his back foot, throws a beautiful football to Devin Hester for about a 34, 37-yard touchdown pass as he lays out and catches it. They go up 17-7, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, Cowboys defense has to step up now, slow the game down, stop the Bears from making chunk plays, get to Jay Cutler, don't allow them to run the football with Matt Forte. And they're still in this game. They're only down 10. I need this game to stay at a snail's pace. It was that way in the first half. I was pleased. They started to heat up in the third quarter, and then the turnovers started to happen. The Cowboys get the football, march right down the field. This one wasn't on Romo. He throws a dart to Kevin Ogletree, who allows it to hit his shoulder pads, bounce up in the air. Easy pick for Major Wright, who settles under it like a fair catch. Catches it, picks it off. It's tackled. Bears get the ball. And it was ironic because on the telecast, on the Monday night telecast, John Gruden is like, these Dallas Cowboys have to get the football back to Tony Romo and that Cowboys offense. So what do? Force a fumble. DeMarcus Ware comes around the corner. Jay Cutler, in Jay Cutler fashion, holds on to the ball for 37 seconds. Decides that, oh, I want to throw it now after being in the pocket way too long. Has no pocket awareness and absolutely no clue of where defenders are around him, as he does so often. Is stripped from behind by DeMarcus Ware, who was actually blocked well on the play by Jamarcus Webb. Fumbles. Dallas recovers. Victor Butler pounces on it. And now Dallas is back in business, maybe 15, 20 yards away from where they gave the ball up on their last possession. So they're right in field goal range and still a couple of first downs away from scoring a touchdown again. So as if nothing ever happened the first time. So what do the Cowboys decide to do? Well, that was just too nice of the defense to give us the ball back. It was just too nice. We didn't ask for them to do this, though. We turned it over for a reason because we don't feel like being on the field right now. So what did Tony Romo do? What did that offensive line of Tony Romo do? Allow Henry Melton to burst up the middle, get to Tony Romo, who was trying to throw the football. He grabbed his arm. The ball came flying out of his arms straight to Lance Briggs, who proceeded to run 77 yards for a touchdown. And just like that, your 17-7 ball game, your 10-7 ball game at the half is now 24-7. And this is what turnovers can do for you. It can turn a close ball game into a blowout in the blink of an eye. It happened 24-7, and now the Cowboys are in dire straits. And from that point on, the game really was never in question. You knew the Bears had the momentum. The Cowboys were reeling. And now it was only a matter of how many interceptions, how many turnovers would the Cowboys have from this point forward. And Tony decided to tack on 2 more picks. He wasn't done yet. And the Bears took full advantage of every opportunity that they got. And that was the difference in the game. The Cowboys had an opportunity to do something with a turnover that the defense forced. And they did nothing with it. In fact, they gave it back to the Bears and allowed them to score a touchdown of their own on defense. And that's the difference. When you get turnovers, when your team forces a turnover, you have to do something with it. especially if you're already in scoring position. You got to get points. Whether it's the field goal or a touchdown, you prefer to get touchdowns, but get something out of it. Feel like the momentum is starting to build. Feel like that turnover did not go in vain. And so the Cowboys squandered an opportunity to get back in the ball game down 17-7. And not only did they squander an opportunity, they created an opportunity for the Bears to extend the lead, which they did. And that was basically it. Tony Romo threw a couple more picks. Maybe could have been avoided. At that point, it didn't really matter. The Cowboys needed to put the ball in the air. They needed to score quickly. You knew he was going to try to make things happen, and turnovers happen when you try to press, and he was pressing. But the Bears played a great game. I tell you what, when this offensive line is not self-destructing, when Jay Cutler isn't down his offensive linemen's throats, when Brandon Marshall isn't looking like a psychopath because he's not getting the football, when this offense is all right, when everything is clicking for Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears offense, they are a very, very scary football team. There are only about a handful of whoa quarterbacks in the league. Guys that can make whoa throws. And Jay Cutler is one of those guys that can make a whoa throw. The kind of throws that you go, get him, get him! Whoa. What just happened? That's what happened on that pass to Devin Hester. He was under siege. He was rolling. He was running around in the pocket. And then all of a sudden, off of 1 foot, heave. Whoop, on a dart. Perfect air under it. Gave Devin Hester a chance to run under it and secure it. Touchdown. Whoa. Jay Cutler has that kind of arm. His arm is electric. He can fling it probably from the seat of his pants better than 60% of the quarterbacks in the league can on 2 feet. Jay Cutler has a special arm, but he needs to make special decisions with the football. In this game, every decision that he made, except the one where he decided to hold on to the ball for 72 seconds and allow DeMarcus Ware to sack him and force a fumble, every decision he made in this game was a right one. Every throw that he made in this game was a good one. And he made the Dallas Cowboys pay for lapses in coverage, turning the football over, and not getting pressure on him consistently enough in this game. He made them pay for all of those things. And if the Bears can continue to be efficient on the offensive end, because their undoing is pressure on Jay Cutler and turnovers. Those two things in conjunction with each other will be the undoing of the Chicago Bears. If they can keep Jay Cutler, this defense is going to play football. They're not the best defense in the world. They're not the best defense in the league. But they create turnovers. They're sound in their principles. They know what they're going out on the field to do, and they execute. So if you make a mistake, they're going to take advantage of it. If you out-execute them, you got them. You know they're going to play cover 2. You know they're going to have their safeties back deep. You know Brian Urlacher is going to drop back about 10 to 15 yards down the middle of the field. The two other linebackers, the outside linebackers, are going to go off at an angle into hook zones and try to stop you from throwing curls and slants. And the 4 down linemen are going to try to come after your quarterback. You know this about the Chicago Bears. They're going to play cover 2. These corners are going to come up and pressure receivers at the line, not give them a free release, and then be looking to make a play. They're watching the quarterback. Everyone's eyes is on the quarterback. So when you're looking at the quarterback, you see the football. When you see the football, you can make plays on the football. That's what this Bears defense does. And so if the offense can get it together, keep it together, and be consistent together as an offense all season long and not point fingers at each other and not implode when things don't go right, this Chicago Bears team can be poised to not only win the NFC North, but win the NFC, period, and go to the Super Bowl as the representatives from the NFC. This is how good this team can be if everything goes right, if they stay healthy, if they play football together as a team. They showed it on Monday night. Now, do you blow this win out of proportion? No, you don't do that. if you are a Bears fan. You don't blow this loss out of proportion if you are a Cowboys fan. Your team performed poorly on Monday, had a poor showing. You're off next week. You have a bye. Go back to the drawing board. Fix it. Come back a better team because of it. Flip side, if you're the Bears, it's a big win. You went on the road against a team that was leading their division. Got a big victory on Monday Night Football, on national television, in convincing fashion against a team that a lot of people think could make some noise in the NFC. I don't, but other people do. And you won a football game. What you do is you build off of that, though. You still need to win this division. Nothing is given to you. Nothing is guaranteed to you. You need to go out and stockpile wins. And this win is just another brick in a long line of bricks that you have set aside that you need to try to stack on top of each other to build a foundation that will serve as a platform for you to get to the playoffs and do something when you get there. But you got to win football games. And you guys have to take this level of play, bottle it up, put it in a bottle, and use this all season long. Don't just have performances like this where you play great football and then the next week come back and have a Green Bay Packer-esque performance like you did that Thursday night against the Packers where you turned it over 4 times. Jay Cutler was sacked about 6 times. And you looked terrible and you were pointing fingers at each other. Don't do that. Be consistent as a football team. Not every time is things going to go right. Jay Cutler is still on the sideline acting up. Now we know this is Jay Cutler's demeanor. But still it doesn't make it right. It doesn't justify the behavior. Mike Tyson's trying to sit down and talk with him about the last possession and why things didn't go right. And let's see if we can make adjustments to have it go right, during the course of this game. And Jay Cutler wants to hear none of it. He gets up, gets a cup of Gatorade, and he's acting like a 9-year-old. He has to cut that foolishness out. You're the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. You're the leader of this team, or at least the leader of this offense. Can't say you're the leader of this team because you act like a little kid too often. Get your act together. Get your head in the game. Get your head out of your butt. And start being the leader of this offense. They need you to be the leader. They need you to step up. Take responsibility when you make mistakes. And pat guys on the back and tell them it's okay, we'll get them next time when they make mistakes. And stop being a prima donna. If your offensive coordinator is trying to talk with you, don't be like Cam Newton. Don't be like yourself. Normally, Jay Cutler, I'm talking to you. And shun your offensive coordinator and walk away from him. Embrace him. See what he has to say. Maybe he's telling you something that can help you throw a touchdown pass on your next possession instead of taking a sack that's unnecessary or forcing a throw that you didn't need to force into double coverage because somebody else on the opposite side of the field was wide open. This Bears team can be special, but only if everybody is on the same page, especially Jay Cutler. Impressive win by the Bears on Monday night. They took it to the Cowboys. Didn't run the ball as effectively as I thought they could have. But they didn't need to. Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall were in sync last night. And the Cowboys defense had no answer for Brandon Marshall. He was open all night. Cutler found him all night. And he got it done. He flat out got it done against this Cowboys defense. Brandon Marshall continued to move the sticks and get chunks. When it wasn't him, it was Alshon Jeffrey. When it wasn't Alshon Jeffrey, it was Devin Hester. When it wasn't Devin Hester, it was Kellen Davis. They found guys all night. And even when Jay Cutler was bad, they were still lucky. Kellen Davis went over the back of a Cowboys defender and took the ball from him, fell on the ground, ball fell on his chest. He got a catch. Even when they weren't good, they were still lucky. That's the kind of night it was for the Chicago Bears where everything, even when you were wrong, you were right. But it's okay. It's okay if you're the Cowboys. These nights happen. You just don't need these to happen too often. You don't need these to happen often, and you need to stop these from happening at home. It's okay to take a nice one on the chin on the road. You can't afford to take lumps like that at home, though. Can't allow teams to come into your house, smack you in your face, and take your coat, your shoes, and walk away, and you do nothing about it. They took your shoes, they took your coat, they took your hat, smacked you in the face, told you thanks, and walked away. And you just cried. Can't allow that to happen. So the Cowboys dropped to 2-2 on the season. And now they're right in the thick of things in that NFC East division. They're right in the middle of just a big puddle of mud. The Giants are 2-2, the Cowboys are 2-2, the Redskins are 2-2, and the Eagles are 3-1. So now they're just back to the rest of the pack with everyone else. Meanwhile, the Bears have elevated themselves to 3-1 on the season, and now they're 3-1 in that division in the NFC North, and they're on top of that division along with the Minnesota Vikings at 3-1. The Green Bay Packers are slightly looking up. They're 2-2. And the Detroit Lions are surprising 1-3 on the season. And so the Bears have a chance to make noise in that division. But they can't squander this lead foolishly. They can't sleep on the Vikings. And they got to make sure they win within that division. You get a game at home against the Vikings. You get a game at home against the Lions. You get that game at home against the Packers. You got to make sure you win those ball games. You might slip up and drop one on the road. That happens inside the division. But at home, you must take care of business inside the division. They got to do that if they want to have any shot at winning that division. For the Cowboys, the bad thing about this loss is that you keep losing to teams in the NFC. If you're trying to make the playoffs, which the Cowboys obviously are, every team in the league is trying to do so, you can't lose games to teams in your conference. The Redskins have lost 2 games, but one of those games is to the Cincinnati Bengals. If you're going to lose the teams out of conference, because as we all know, when they start going to head-to-head matchups and tiebreakers, one of the first things they come to is your inter-conference record. And so you can't have a spotty record within the conference if you're going to try to make the playoffs. You can't have a 5-7 conference record and think you're going to the playoffs. You don't want to have a 6-6 mark within the NFC because you already play 6 games inside your division. If you split those games, if you go 3-3 in your division, you've already got 3 losses within the NFC. You've already dropped games to the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears now, 2 third-place teams from a year ago, which are the 2 games you played outside of the divisions that you play. And so you're at a disadvantage right now. You have to start beating teams in the NFC if you want to have a shot, because if you win the division, none of this stuff matters. But again, this division is going to come down to the wire. I don't think any team is going to necessarily run away with it, but I don't think 9-7 like it was last year is going to be a division win. I think 10-6, 11-5 is going to win this division, and I don't see the Cowboys doing that. But even if you want to get in as a wild card, you're going to have to win tiebreakers over teams. And the way to do that is to win games in your conference. Of course, beating them head-to-head, if you play them, always helps. But a lot of times you don't play the teams that you're going up against to try to make it into the playoffs. And so they go to tiebreakers. And the first one they're going to look at is your inter-conference record. And if your inter-conference record stinks, you're probably not going to go to the playoffs. And the Cowboys right now are 1-2 within the conference. Or excuse me, 2-2. They beat Tampa Bay, they've beat the Giants, but they've also lost to the Seattle Seahawks, and they've also lost to the Chicago Bears. So that's 2 losses on their resume in the NFC already. They got to start tightening that up, and they could have easily have lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, turnovers will make a liar out of you. They turned the football over against Tampa Bay. They easily could have lost that game. But Tampa Bay is not a good team. And so they thought that those turnovers were going to help them win the game. But they didn't do anything with them. So again, they were a liar in thinking that just having teams turn the football over was enough. No, you have to take those turnovers and actually do something with them. And they didn't do anything with them, and so they lost. This Cowboys team has a bye week now. Have to go back to the drawing board, get these mistakes corrected, come back and be a better football team. We'll see what they do when they come back off their bye in week 6 and see what they've learned and what they've worked on and see if they can be a better team coming back after getting drubbed at home by the Chicago Bears 34-18 on Monday Night Football. Bears are 3-1. Dallas Cowboys are now 2-2 on the season. And so that's going to do it for the recap of Monday Night Football. That's a touchdown. Go ahead and throw it up. tack on this quick extra point. All right, I'm envious today. I'm very envious because I look around the National Football League and I see everyone has a field goal kicker they can call their own. Someone that they have that will be around for the next 10, 12 years if they don't get injured or if they don't just suddenly have a mental lapse or breakdown and just start missing a rash of kicks. There's a lot of young, good kickers in the league. There are a lot of veteran kickers who are really stable and guys you can rely on. And then there are guys like Billy Cundiff, who I just don't get, and I don't understand why Mike Shanahan was so quick to get rid of our young kicker, who I thought had promise. Yeah, he missed a few kicks. Yeah, he had some kicks blocked. But I like Graham Gano. And I know Redskin fans don't care to hear that. I don't care that you don't care to hear that. Graham Gano was a young kicker who, if given enough time, I think he was going to figure this thing out. He had made his last 15 kicks last year. A lot of you you fail to remember that. You love to pick on the fact that he missed 10 kicks and that 5 of them were blocked last year and that he's missed a few kicks that he should have made. Yeah, he's missed kicks that he should have made that most kickers in the league make. But you fail to remember that he made 15 straight to end the season last year and that he made a 56-yard field goal, franchise record for the Washington Redskins. You fail to remember that. We so quick to run him out of town. That's what we do in Washington, run guys out of town prematurely, like Carlos Rogers, like Graham Gano. And then when they have success in other areas, in other teams, then we want to go, well, why didn't they do that in Washington? Because you didn't give them a chance to do that in Washington. You want to be hypercritical of guys. Now we're stuck with Billy Cundiff. And yes, I say stuck because he's not going anywhere. Mike Shanahan isn't going to get rid of Billy Cundiff after he went out and got rid of 2 kickers who were in a camp battle and went out of his way to give Billy Cundiff the job and appease him and make him feel wanted, which is the first thing that came out of Billy Cundiff's mouth, is he wanted to feel needed and wanted. He's a needy kicker. He's a scary kicker. He scares me. You know why he scares me? He didn't have any confidence. He didn't say to himself, all right, I just missed that last kick, but I'm about to go and make this next kick. As a golfer, as a field goal kicker, as a hitter in baseball, you have to be mentally tough. You have to have it here. Mentally, you have to block things out. Probably as a DB as well in the National Football League. Quarterback, too, when you throw an interception, you have to block that out. You have to forget about that interception. You get beat for a 77-yard touchdown pass, you got to forget about that. You got football to play. You got a lot of game left to play. You're a field goal kicker. You miss a 31-yard field goal. All right, forget about that. I didn't hit that one right. I'm going to hit the next one perfect, and I'm going to split the uprights. That's what you got to be saying to yourself mentally as a field goal kicker. You're a hitter in baseball, and you're 0 for your last 14. The next time I step up at the plate, that's going to be the one that's going to break this streak, this slump I'm in. Mentally, you got to have it here. He doesn't have it here. Billy Cundiff doesn't have. When he missed those kicks, you can see that the ball was rolling and it was going downhill and it was gaining momentum. He was scared. Mentally, he was fragile at that point. He wanted no part of a game-winning kick. He looked like he was about to throw up all over himself. If you were watching him on the sideline, he looked like he was praying to God in his head that Robert Griffin III scored a touchdown and that he didn't have to come back on the field but for anything than kicking an extra point to win the football game. He wanted no part of a last-second field goal to win the game. He was terrified. And that's who Billy Cundiff is. He's skittish. He can't help that. Mentally, he's a fragile guy. And he'll tell you that. He'll tell you, hey, I was starting to doubt myself. Yeah, you were. Because that's what you are. You're a doubter. That's what you do. I call guys like you losers. You'll never win because you're not a winner. You're a loser. Because mentally, you're not tough enough to withstand adversity. So I'm envious today. I want a kicker that I can call my own. Somebody that I didn't get off the street. Someone that's not recycled from somebody else's roster. I want a kicker that I can say, I went out, I got this guy, he's mine, and he's not going anywhere for the next 10 years. I want a Greg Zuerlein. I want a Blair Walsh. I want a Connor Barth. I want a Josh Scobie. I want somebody I can call my own. I want a Jason Hanson. Someone that's going to be a consummate professional for 20 years. You know he's going to split the upright. There's no doubt in your mind that he's not going anywhere. He's timeless. He's ageless. And he gets the job done. The same way he did the first game in the NFL is the same way he's getting it done in his 245th game in the NFL. I want one of those guys. Can I have that guy, please? So I'm begging you. I'm pleading with you. I'm asking you. Redskins, next year in the draft, can you please get a kicker of our own? Someone we can call our own kicker. I don't want to hear guys talking about, I don't want to spend a draft pick on a kicker. That's what people are doing now. That's what teams are doing now. They're spending a draft pick on a kicker and it's paying dividends. Stop being foolish and thinking you can just get any kicker. Oh, kickers are a dime a dozen. Really? You think so? Go find a kicker then. Go find a kicker that's going to make a 54-yard field goal. Go find one off the street that's going to consistently make 47-yard field goals. Go do it. We've been trying to do that for years. Go do it. Since it's so easy, they come a dime a dozen. Go do it. Didn't think so. Go draft a kicker next year. Because I want a kicker that I can call my own. I'm tired of having to sweat out victories. Tired of making games harder than they should be because I don't have a real field goal kicker. And that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for joining me in the lab room. It's been a long episode, longer than it probably should have been, but I had some stuff to get off my chest. Jay Cutler acting like a 9-year-old. Redskins don't have a legitimate field goal kicker. I have issues, things that I need to get off my chest. I just did, and I feel a lot better because of it. So you have a good day. You have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know I will. I want to see you back here same time, same place. I'm out.